Well, welcome to the Speak Your Power Now podcast, the show that is dedicated to empowering women through the art of communication. I am your host, Cheryl Clarke, and this is a weekly podcast giving you a dose of practical tips, inspiring stories, and transformational insight that would help you break free from any self-doubt and unlock your true potential. Whether you're looking to enhance your professional presence, build meaningful relationships, or simply embrace your own voice, you're in the right place. Get ready to hear from thought leaders, experts, real-life women who have harnessed their power of communication to create a positive change in their lives and for the life of others. We are here to provide you with the resources and community you need to thrive. Let's embark on this transformational journey together. Subscribe now and join us on the Speak Your Power Now podcast, because your voice matters, and together we're unleashing its true and full potential. Speak Your Power Now. Empowerment begins with your voice. This is our Speak Your Power Now podcast, and I'm your host, Cheryl Clarke, as always, coming at you with, what I always say, I'm just a girl from the Bronx, and I learned a little bit of tools along the way, and I'm just here to share with you. That's what I am here to do. Speak Your Power Now is that podcast. It's not about money or prestige, but however, if you learn how to speak your power now, that'll come along with it. We are super excited to have our first guest with us, and before I introduce her, you know how we started off. We started off with our Speak Your Power Now declarations. I want you to come along with me as we go forward in our Speak Your Power Now declaration. I want you to begin by getting in a comfortable position, closing your eyes. Take a nice long deep breath in through your nostrils and exhale it out. Take a nice long slow deep breath in through your nostrils again. And exhale it out. The Speak Your Power Now declaration. Today I reclaim my power of purpose. Today I declare that I have unshakable faith and confidence in my uniqueness. Today I declare that I will not live in fear, but with power, love, and a sound mind. Today, I declare that I always communicate with words to empower myself and others. Today, I declare to always honor myself by living in the present and living powerfully in each moment. Amen and Ashe. All right, so that is our declaration on today. And this is how we always let it embody you. Let it go engross inside of you. Go embody those words. Just don't let it be words. Let me just let you know what we're going to be going through today. We cover the 7 domains: mental wellness, physical environment, relationships, money, health, career, and spiritual practices. And we ask guests from time to time to come on and share their journey with us. And right now, I had the privilege of having our guest sit back, relax, because her story, number 1, is amazing. And number 2, she's going to give you some nuggets that you never got before. So I want you to go ahead, and I want you to welcome. Let me read her bio firstly, Cheryl. Don't get ahead of yourself, Cheryl. Don't get ahead of yourself. I'm excited. I'm excited about our guest. Her name is Crystal Winstead, also known as the Inclusion Lady. And she is a renowned anti-racism facilitator, inclusive marketing consultant, speaker, beauty advocate, and leadership coach. She is a powerful advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion within the marketing spheres and beyond. Crystal is a visionary behind the Think You, an educational consultancy dedicated to empowering women by harnessing their self-awareness to dismantling harmful societal biases tied into race, beauty, and self-determination. With a background spanning years in advertising and fashion merchandising and makeup artistry, Crystal has witnessed the role of capitalism in crafting misleading narratives, and her profound expertise in personal development has driven her mission to nurture her authenticity and her self-empowering and liberation by discerning truth from illusion. Let us put our hands together for my guest, my wonderful guest today, as the name of Crystal Winstead. Let's give her a round of applause. All right, Crystal, well, welcome. It is our pleasure to have you here with us for our very first time. So tell us a little bit about your journey related to the theme of the podcast, because she's going to be delving into the domain of relationships. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. Well, first of all, let me thank you, Cheryl, for being here. It's my pleasure to be able to speak my power and to others, and so hopefully be able to support someone else. Well, a little bit about my background. I am originally from Hampton, Virginia, and I lived in New York City for about 16 years. And then probably 3 weeks into COVID, I booked out of there and went straight to Atlanta. And that's where I am right now. And currently, I am walking in the path of diversity, equity, and inclusion, which has a target on my back, but that's another story. What I do in that arena is be able to recognize and teach people how to recognize and address how systemic oppression shows up in our modern day. And be able to speak to it and be able to speak to power about it.
You know, you said something interesting here. You shifted and knew how to shift when the COVID came. And so many people can probably relate to you shifting in that avenue and your background journey. So if I may, how did your background journey lead you to the work that you are in today? Because I know you did a leap, but how did your background really prepare you for that leap and that journey?
Great question. Well, I will definitely attribute everything to being vocal. I'll say this. I do have extensive background as a makeup artist and also a fashion stylist. I was in the entertainment media world for a long time. And then when the economy and the industry changed, when social media hit, I knew I needed to change. And so I ended up working at an advertising agency as a basic administrator. I needed some money, couldn't do the freelance work anymore. So I landed in this ad agency and had no idea like what I landed in. And at that ad agency, and this time was around 2016, 2017, and these were the times of police brutality happening with Philando Castile and Alton Sterling, and things just kept going. And then we had the Trump campaigns and all that good stuff. So we had some racial workshops coming into the workplace. And in those workshops, I would attend and I would be very vocal about my experiences with racism or sexism or what have you. Because I was not afraid to be vulnerable about the things that I went through, it opened up a gate for the employees to start coming to me. And they started asking me questions, and then they started sharing their personal stories or even the stories inside the workplace. So because I've always had a great heart, I've always wanted to help others, I always stand for something bigger than myself. I took it upon myself to be a leader. I went to HR and I would say, hey, you know, there's some employees here are experiencing A, B, and C. Like, what are you going to do about it? And I realized there was no structure to really address those things. So what I did on my accord, I went straight to the top executives of the ad agency. I pitched a role in diversity, equity, and inclusion. They bought it. And I ended up having a role. I was a diversity and inclusion professional. And yeah, I just started from there and just started doing the work.
Oh my God. Can you say speaking your power now? Because I mean, let's give that a little bit of something on that, because speaking your power now, right there, when you are hearing that, I want to give that point right there, because what she did was she created something in the space when it wasn't there, because she heard something in the air. That's what's speaking your power now. And in the domain of relationships, what do you see the specific challenges or obstacles that was faced when you prompted those things in your personal journey and in the corporate world, if I may ask?
Oh, yes. Well, the first challenge I would say is that human resources really was leading me on and kind of stalling me for about a year,
Wow.
because they would say, hey, well, we're having talks about diversity. We're talking about it. We're having conversations. Let's continue the conversation. What I learned later, in politics talk, that is a stall method, because they really didn't intend to talk about it.
Wow, the stall method.
Yes, it was a stall method. So, there was a point where I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take this anymore. And I'm going to go straight to the horse's mouth, which were the top executives. So that was the first challenge. Now, the second challenge was when I actually got into the position. I was raised, shout outs to my mom. She raised me to be very conscious of the racial structure that I was being raised into. She let me know what was going on, and she kept me abreast with Essence magazines and African art. So I was already kind of nurtured into being in the civil rights movement, if you will. So with that being said, I was all about my business.
Yeah.
So when I was in that role, I started to have challenges with some of the management there, because I became the one who shook the table. Okay. And then I became the Black woman who was angry or combative, and even being tone policed when I did speak up about something, only because I was holding people accountable. So if this company was going to make a declaration publicly to their employees and outward facingly about, oh, we're taking this, Black Lives Matter, movement on, and we're staying with you, I held their feet to the fire. Eventually, they tried to work to get me out because I was disturbing the structure.
Oh my God. I told you to fasten your seatbelts, because Crystal came here to drop some bombs. I have written down so many things I want to ask her a question. Firstly, the tone police. Mm-hmm. Can we dive into that? Because we all know this platform is about empowering women through communication, right? So, and I talk about effective communication, personal growth, but let's talk about how did the tone police and you and that playing a part with you and your communication and your being able to transform that. Please, let's talk about it.
Well, what is interesting is that I was tone policed by upper management, a direct report who happened to be a Black woman, which I found very interesting, because usually it's from, someone else who's not Black. And at this time, we were on a phone call. So interestingly enough, me and a manager would have these conversations about this team. And, we had some problems with some of the team members. And so we would talk about it offline. But when we got into the actual meeting, she wouldn't say anything. No one would address it. I don't work like that. It's like, look, if there's an issue, we're going to address it, and I'm going to address it head on. Mm-hmm. And so I did so right in that call. And one of the things she said was that, she kind of, she said something kind of snide, politically, they have those words that can, is kind of subtle, if you will. But she was kind of trying to shut me down or shut me up in the call by talking over me. And then when we got off the call, she said that, she didn't like my tone and how I was speaking to the other counterparts, and that I needed to smooth out my rough edges.
Wow.
Yeah, because I didn't really adapt that code switching mannerism that she had.
Now, wait, you can't drop a bomb like that. Okay, you can't drop it, because many people don't know about code switching. Now, Crystal is so versed in inclusion that when these terms come up, I stop her because she thinks that everyone knows this, right? So I want to make sure that everyone gets this. So, Crystal, tell them about what code switching is.
Thank you for stopping me. Fair enough. I got to be cognizant of jargon. So code switching is that professional persona that we put on that is closer in proximity of whiteness. It could look like being very eloquent and concise with your English. Some people would say it's talking white, but that's a debatable, topic. Mm-hmm. Code switching is just trying to almost like assimilate or imitate how white people move professionally, if you will. Sometimes it's down to even your look. So me not coming in with an afro, but coming in with very straight hair and relaxed hair, kind of how I'm showing today. So, and it's usually a mask, and it's another term called double consciousness, which means that we're one way when we get home. So like I'm at home and I'm like, yo, what's up? Talking to my friends or whatever. But at work, I am just like, hi, I'm Crystal Winstead. How can I help you today?
If I may, I want to just say this because communication plays a big part in all of our worlds.
Yes.
And as women and as us moving, now we have I saw some statistics that we have moved somewhat in corporate American political realms and stuff of that nature. But we still have a major gap in this area of our voices being heard and being heard and being heard. And whereas now code switching does come with the cultural connotation there, some of the things that you've been talking about really have put some really key avenues in there about how people perceive communication in the workplace, personal life, and relationship with people. And what I heard was your relationship with people is that you used your communication in all avenues as a strategic, empowering tool to get you to the next level. Could you tell us some of the communication strategies that you did to help bond relationship or help level up in relationships?
May I ask, is this coming off of the code switching topic, or is this another?
I wanted you to explain what that was for people, because you did drop it, but I think you dropped it in the fact of talking about your ex-boss or whatever the case may be. I just wanted you to explain it, and I think you did a great job with that. Now I'm just going to go into how you get some key strategies on your communication so we can help others in empowering them with their communication.
Got it. Thank you for clarifying that strategy of communication right here, playing out. I would say that number one is getting clear and taking self-inventory on what your life values are. So what that looks like is maybe it's writing down, typing, whatever, what you like, what you don't like, what you hate, what you love, what you need, and what you want in your life.
That's
right?
good.
So taking that inventory so that you can create a set of values. And then once you have that set of values, you commit to them, you hold them dear to yourself, which goes into the second strategy. Because once you have your values, then you're able to set boundaries. Once you have your boundaries in place, this is a gauge to be able to tell you what fits, what aligns with my values and what doesn't. And when it doesn't, and it can be a person, place, or a thing, then you make decisions and you speak up about that. Because the thing about boundaries is that people don't know what your boundaries are until you speak on them. So that would be the other strategy.
Let me get a clap on it, because I think let me get a clap on that. That's great. Continue, because this is right now, Allie. Right now, I'll be writing down. She said inventory, your value. Yep. Because that way you're not waving on somebody else's value, because you start going in there, you start waving. That's that code switching. That's just switching, period, because you don't have a standard. That's what I believe. When I hear about that, boundaries are important for me. What is the standard? People always asking, oh, Cheryl, what type of culture? I teach people how to communicate powerfully. You already have the tools in you. So what does Crystal do? She is the inclusion lady. What does she do? What does she do to get me to my next?
Right.
Not going to an eye doctor to fix your foot. Go to the podiatrist. Hello. Go ahead. Continue.
And I'd probably say one more, and I call this the 4 C's: being concise in your communication, being clear in your communication, being compassionate in your communication, and most of all, being courageous in your communication. So with those things, I think as like a whole mashup, you're on a good track.
Yes, let's give that definitely a clap, because I definitely. There's one, I always say the 3 C's too, but I want to actually add one to it. Like we always say, be complete. Because when you're complete at the end, you give it a period. I don't believe in commas, semicolons, leaving things lingering, open loops of communication, because when you're complete with it, you're complete with it. And then if you need to pick up another paragraph, you indent the paragraph and you start again. If you need to start another page, you turn the page. If you need to start another chapter, that is when you know that you're complete with that, then you can pick up. But when you looking at what happens and you start going back to yesteryear, here I go talking, but that's just how I feel. And when you just talked, I mean, it came right back. So thank you for that. I think that is going to give someone the boost they need to begin to, in relationships, what they look like in relationships. Are you going to take the inventory? Then you're going to do the boundaries, and you're going to know your values, and you're going to stand on that. And when you're not standing on that, Crystal, how does one know when they're not standing on that?
Well, usually you feel it. So I'm a big feeling person in terms of how to move my feet. And so when you feel there's a discordance within yourself and something doesn't feel right and you don't like how you were treated, but you're sitting in it, usually it's around the heart area that you start to feel, or maybe the gut that's just very discordant. Usually it's something that you may need to address either with yourself, because maybe there's a disempowering thought inside yourself that's creating this discomfort. Or it actually could be that someone external to you did violate a boundary within you. So like, I think when you start to really just get so close with yourself in terms of like knowing, again, what you stand for, what you don't, and the values of all of that, then it's a clear, it's a clear answer of like why or what has happened, or if the boundaries were crossed. So once you really get to know your values, then
I think that's so good, because now you're not wavering. And then you, like you said, it's a feeling that comes up, that intuition that comes up, okay, how am I feeling? And I call it the bio indicators. So there's always those bio indicators. Like if my hand starts to sweat, you start to cry, your heart starts to palpitate. Those are all the bio. You got to pay attention to your bio indicators. Your body will tell you.
That's right.
Your body will tell you. If you start crying, I mean, I'm very, very, very transparent. I struggled with situational anxiety. So there were certain times when, it would happen. I have to now do the temperature of my body. What's actually happening? Your bio indicators will tell you what's happening in your body.
That's right.
Listen to them.
Listen
to them. There's a trigger. All right. This has been great. Our time is flying by. So I'm going to ask Crystal a couple of fireball questions for her. If you could tell your 5-year-old body something, what would you tell your 5-year-old body?
Ooh, a 5-year-old body. That you are a leader.
Wow. I'm a leader. If you can envision the world with women's voices fully being heard and embraced, what would it sound like?
The sound is interesting. The word that comes up is unity, unified. Wow. So maybe in unison.
I like that. I like that. I like that a lot, because sometimes I like that. They say that we're not unified.
Right.
And I love that. 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 So, Crystal, I enjoyed you today. I want you to let people know, if you could sum up your message, sum up what you do to empower women in the world with their communication, their relationships, what would that sentence be?
I would say that self-awareness is the key to having personal freedom, fulfillment, and power.
Well, yes, let's give that. Excellent, excellent, excellent interview. Excellent interview. I want to thank my interviewee, my friend. I will call her my friend. She is the inclusion lady, Crystal. You want to join her. She's going to tell you how you can connect with her online like I did and be a part of her movement. And we're going to be hearing from her again, I'm sure, here on the Speak Your Power Now podcast. You're going to hear her somewhere in the world giving words of wisdom, actions of wisdom to somebody, some corporate entity to say, listen, we need to be heard. All right, Crystal, I love it. Crystal, tell them a little bit about where they can find you and what you can offer.
Yes, thank you so much for this time, Cheryl. I've had a blast, and I'm so mad it's over already. And yes, thank you for speaking life into me as well. Okay, but you can catch me on LinkedIn, Crystal Winstead. I also have a website. It is theinclusionlady.com. I also have The Inclusion Lady on Instagram as well. And you can always look me up on Facebook, Crystal Winstead. You'll find me.
Very, very good. Well, do you have any final thoughts for us, Crystal, that you would like to end with, as we are not leaving you forever? And I'm sure she won't leave us forever. She's probably coming back. And so do you have any last thoughts that you would like to leave us with?
Yes. Stay true to yourself and be clear that there are biases that you were taught dealing with race, beauty, or self-leadership, but be very clear to be able to distinguish between illusion and reality.
That's so good. Oh my goodness, that's so good. He just owned it with a great, because sometimes our biases can be implicit and we don't even know it.
That's right.
So we just got to make sure that we are very clear about that. So I want to thank you, everyone. Thank you once again to my guests, co-hosts. I like to call them co-hosts because we have a conversation. And this is what we had today, a conversation. I want to thank you, everyone, for listening on today, whatever platform you're listening on. And remember, this is a journey to speaking your power now. Stay tuned for more episodes, as your unique voice matters in the planet. Your unique culture matters. You are unique. Until next time, remember to embrace your voice, embrace your intention. And remember, sometimes your life is defined by one single moment. Let that moment be today. Peace and God bless. Well, thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of Speak Your Power Now podcast. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insight on your journey of self-expression. Remember, the power of communication is in your hands. And by honing on to this skill, you're going to unlock a world of possibilities. Your journey doesn't end here. Stay connected with us on social media, where we are going to continue the conversation and share your own stories of empowerment. So if you enjoyed this episode today, don't forget to hit us up, subscribe, leave your review, and share it with your friends. Also, feel free to share your thoughts with any questions or ideas you may have for future episodes. Together, we're going to build a community of confident communicators. Now, as we wrap up, always remember that your voice has power to inspire, to uplift, and to encourage and change. Keep speaking your truth and empowering yourself, and embrace the power within. Until next time, remember, your life is defined by one single moment. Let that moment be today.